back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. And if you haven't been here before, please subscribe to be a part of the bilingual family, which is mostly me attempting to speak English. You know, it's time for business when I have my hair in this kind of special updo. I've seen these AI yearbook all over my For You page and like my Instagram, and I was kind of inspired by the hairstyles that were in there. So I was like, I'm gonna do a slightly 90s inspired hairstyle, which is basically like 2 pineapples on my head. You know that one thing that your mom used to do all the time where it was like this and you looked like a pineapple? That's kind of what I'm doing. So today is going to be a very quick video where I'm just gonna do a pumpkin spice inspired makeup tutorial, which is basically just me doing my eyeshadow and my lips. I'm actually gonna recreate a look that I did in my shorts, and I also saw Alexandra Anele, or Alexandra Anili, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. She uploaded a tutorial which is like the perfect fall makeup, my friends. It's giving pumpkin spice. So I was just in general very inspired by the entire fall season, and I really just wanted to do that very quickly with you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. It's gonna be a voiceover because I don't really feel like talking all that much today, but I'm gonna talk while I'm actually doing the makeup. So also a major throwback, but the palette that I'm gonna use today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette, which still to this day is like my favorite kind of fall palette. I think it really screams fall with the muted greens, the oranges, and like these browns in there. This is what it looks like, and now I'm gonna move on to the makeup. Okay, so the first shade is the shade Dawn, and I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit and then even more because I want you to be really close to my face. And with a slightly fluffy brush but not too big, it's like a MAC 217 brush but it's a slightly different one, we're gonna blend out that Dawn shade all over the eyes, and as you can see it translates a lot warmer on my complexion than it does in the pan. I did switch to a slightly larger brush because I wanted it to be quite blown out, and the kind of MAC 217 brush, it's not the MAC 217 by the way, but it's very comparable to that brush, which is a little bit too precise, but I'm gonna end up using that one later again. But right now I just kind of want to blend this out all over the face and keep a general V shape. As you can see, kind of wings out at the ends of my eyes. Then we're taking the shade Edge, and with a slightly small brush, I'm gonna switch to a different brush in a minute. I'm putting that on the first third of my eyeball, and I'm first placing it down and then blending it out slightly with that Katie Jane Hughes brush, just because I want it to be very soft and buttery, and these pigments are a little bit difficult to work with. So I'm just laying that down and then keeping it on the first third. Then I'm taking the shade New Wave, which is a slightly more orange shade. And again, I'm placing that down, this time in the very center. So where you would put an eyeshadow to create a halo eye, I'm kind of putting this matte shade to create a kind of gradient from mustard to orange, and then a different shade later on. And now I'm using that 217 brush and I'm blending that into the shade Dawn. And you just kind of want to make sure that everything is nice and seamless and smooth. Then I'm taking the shade Roxy, which is a slightly more pink shade than I was anticipating, but we're gonna fix it later on. And again, I'm taking a kind of small and tapered, so not too fluffy, but very precise blending brush. This is also from the Katie Jane Hughes collection. And I'm putting that in the outer corners of my eye, kind of creating a V shape and following the kind of winged shape that we created with the Dawn shade. Back to the 217 brush and just blending that out very nicely, and then I'm going back in with some of that Edge shade, I believe, and blending it out even more. The next shade is the shade All Star and the shade Rowdy together, and we're gonna create a little bit of a winged liner. This is also a Katie Jane Hughes brush. Putting a guideline at first, and then in the next step we're going to blend it out. So what I usually do is I make it a slightly upwards, the line, and then I put a second line which is pretty straight. And that's kind of how I create my liner. And then I take a very small and not too fluffy blending brush. This is also from the Katie Jane Hughes collection, and I'm just blending that liner slightly out so it's more of a smudged liner situation instead of a very sharp line. And then my leg was sleeping and I was absolutely suffering. This always happens to me, but yeah. And we keep on blending. And if you're not happy with the color payoff, you can always go back in and reapply it. Then with that same brush, I'm going into the inner corner and just kind of what's left on the brush, using that. Then I take a clean brush and I just keep on blending. You know, this is a very blending kind of look to make it very seamless and very overall gorgeous. This is the Catrice Go Big or Go Bold mascara, and I'm just applying that to the lashes. Now I want some big old lashes without using any false lashes for this look. And then I'm using a teeny tiny brush and the shade Rowdy, and I'm creating a little bit of a second line. So on the lower lashes, just a little bit of a line. I like to do this, I don't know why, but I feel like it really makes my eyes a little bit bigger. Using the Dawn shade again, I'm using that shade with a slightly more fluffy brush this time. It's not as precise, and we're just kind of blending that all out all over the lower lashes, just to create a little bit of a light shade that connects the top to the bottom. This is my Tower 28 blush in the shade, I forgot about it, but it's the orange one. I'm just applying that together with my REM Beauty lip liner in, I think this is the shade Harmonies. And now I can see that my ponytails are lopsided, which is funny. Taking my Rare Beauty lipstick, I think this is the shade Wordy, and it's slightly orange on my complexion, so I thought it was perfect. But I'm also gonna go in with a brush, and you'll see that later, and I'm applying a little bit of my blush because I felt like it needed a little bit of that oranginess, and the Tower 28 blush was perfect for that. So this kind of ties the looks together. Okay, so this is the finished look. What do we think? With like the light yellow and then the oranges and then the browns, and it just fall is such an amazing and beautiful and cozy, most of all cozy season. It's really the season where you start to pull out your blankets, put yourself in the couch, pour some hot cocoa. And I know that's very cliche, but that's literally what I do when it's like fall, and even more when it's like winter. It's just like the coziness of the different kind of lamps in your house that have like warm lights, and then you have like a coziness of warmth in general that isn't there in other seasons. I feel like I just love everything about it. Whereas in summer, for example, I really like feeling the sun on my skin, even though I don't like burning or just being outside and the light. But for me, summer is like heat and light, and fall or autumn is like warmth and coziness and darkness. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to do today's video, just a quick small tutorial really for a very simple look with a slightly more difficult palette. I'm also normally not the biggest fan of like under eye makeup or eyeshadow, but I did it with the shade Dawn, and I just really feel like it ties the look together. And with this kind of look, I feel like it really needs some of that smokiness. So yeah, that is today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one, which is, I don't know what it's gonna be in the next one. I feel like who knows at this point. Also do enjoy my dying plants in the background. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!